Welcome to the Human Nature Channel. I'm your host, Alex Mtamsula, also known as Daddy Baby on Twitter. And what am I doing here? Well, it's Tuesday night once again up here in my dad's ever-improving farm garage. That sounds good. I rolled in about 4:30 in the afternoon. And after I got settled in, Dad said, hey, why don't you make me a cup of coffee? And I'm like, coming right up. Made him one, made myself one. So we're sitting down at the card table. And he mentions that we're going to go ahead with installing the commode down here in the farm garage. He's like, it's the next project. We're going to take care of that. I'm like, oh, okay. We've been living here for almost 60 years. The farm garage has been here longer than that. And it's finally getting a commode. Wow. This plan has been in the works for a few years. I mentioned it to my friend, the walking, talking human encyclopedia. And he's there, what about a septic tank? And this time I was ready for him. I said, a mere 50 yards from where I stand, where the old farmhouse foundation is a septic tank. And all you gotta do is dig a ditch from point A to point B, lay some pipe, hook it up to the commode in here, cover the pipe with dirt. That's it. Nothing to it. And my friend, the walking, talking human encyclopedia says, it's as if it were meant to be. He's dazzled. I gotta tell you something about my friend, the walking, talking human encyclopedia. I went to a therapist one time. And I said, hey, Mr. Therapist, my friend, the walking, talking human encyclopedia, he's mean to me all the time. And the therapist is like, all the time? You mean 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, and he also adjusts for leap year? Is that what you mean, all the time? I'm like, well, when you put it that way, maybe not all the time. And the therapist's like, you're exaggerating. And I'm like, oh, well, maybe you're right. And I was like, yeah, of course I'm right. He's like, can you see how it's the source of all your problems? And I'm like, And it's like, wow, I feel so small all of a sudden. And the therapist is like, good. And I'm like, but there's one other thing. I'm like, I think he installed a speaker in my bedroom wall next to my bed so I can hear his voice all night long while I sleep. And the therapist is like, you need more help than I can give you. Oh, look, time's up. Pay the secretary on the way out. So anyway, where was I? Oh yes, my friend, the human walking, talking encyclopedia, he's dazzled. Because it's a dazzling septic tank. The septic tank is an underground chamber made of concrete, fiberglass, or plastic through which domestic wastewater sewage flows for basic treatment. Settling and anaerobic processes reduce solids and organics, but the treatment efficiency is only moderate, referred to as primary treatment. Septic tank systems are a type of simple on-site sewage facility, OSSF. They can be used in areas that are not connected to a sewerage system, such as rural areas. The treated liquid effluent is commonly disposed in a septic drain field, which provides further treatment. Nonetheless, groundwater pollution may occur and can be a problem. The term septic refers to the anaerobic bacterial environment that develops in the tank that decomposes or mineralizes the waste discharged into the tank. Septic tanks can be coupled with other on-site wastewater treatment units such as biofilters or aerobic systems involving artificially forced aeration. The rate of accumulation of sludge, also called septage or fecal sludge, is faster than the rate of decomposition. Therefore, the accumulated fecal sludge must be periodically removed, which is commonly done with a vacuum truck. For the longest time, that septic tank lay beneath a layer of sod. But as happens in the life of every septic tank, it reached a point where it needed emptied. This situation arose one summer when I was 15. When the layer of sod was removed, you saw this large concrete cap, about 4 feet in diameter. It sat on the opening of the septic tank. Around the opening had been laid concrete, and around that was a double-stack ring of bricks. You had to step down onto the concrete if you wanted to get close enough to the cap to lift it. Somehow Dad got that cap lifted, and it was so thick that it could stand on its edge alone, which it did for about a week, which was how long it took to clean out the septic tank. And for an entire week in the summertime, we were reminded of how good we eat. So, anyway, Dad got the cap back on top of the septic tank opening, but he didn't put the sod back on. He just left it that way. So I'd look at that big concrete cap sometimes, and I'd look at that double brick ring going around it, and I would go, wow, that's like something out of Dungeons and Dragons, don't you think? I could imagine a game of Dungeons and Dragons with 2 players. And they got themselves a treasure map. And they're walking along. Treasure's got to be around here somewhere. Hey, look at that big concrete cap. Do you see that thing? Yes. Wow. I wonder if the treasure could be under that cap. You know, I got a Raise a concrete cap spell. I bought it back at the spell store. I knew that thing would come in handy. Life's a 6-dice roll. Oh, Daddy needs a new pair of shoes. Oh, let's try this out. Okay, dice roll. Yes. Oh my God. Oh, what a bad fucking smell. You could see it. Hey, do you got a lower the concrete cap spell in that bag? No. What do you mean no? I thought they came in a pair. Oh, they did, but I didn't buy that one because I thought I'd just leave the concrete cap floating in the air when I made off with the treasure. You idiot! And the dungeon master says, dun, dun, dun. So anyway, Dad says, I'm going to put a partition up in front of that commode. Hey, we're not cavemen. And then Dad says, I'm going to find me a thrown away toilet seat. and I'm going to cut it in half with a bandsaw. And I'm going to hang one half of that seat on the partition, and under it is going to be a sign that says, "For my half-assed relatives." And I'm like, Dad, I can't wait to see that. Have a good one.